Alright guys, today we're going to make some different level transitions. So there are two main ways to do this, one being the level doors, the other one being scripting. So I'm going to use both of them and a few other things around to make it a more realistic scene. Using a key on the door, for example, and blocking it and setting messages and stuff like that. So this is going to be pretty much all-in-one, if you want, about locked doors, level doors that is, and other transitions. So I hope this will turn out good. Ugh, damn this Skype. I hope it will turn out good, and it's not really, I haven't really put up a script or how I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to take it off as how I usually want to do these things. And yeah, so I'll be adding the effects that I feel would be suitable to use in a situation like this. Anyways, I have again opened my custom story folder right here. Once again, if you're missing any of these files, you may download them in my description. And I'm also going to link all the scripting that I am going to do in the description so that you can just download it from there. And also, if you're using a Windows computer, don't worry, this tutorial works for both Windows, Mac, and Linux, I'm sure. Although I'm not too familiar with Linux, but it should be just the same actually. Anyways, I forgot to actually make a script file for these two maps that I prepared just now, so I'm just gonna duplicate an older one and rename it. And anyways, so we're gonna jump into the level editor. I have prepared some maps, but they don't have much. I'm just gonna be a small example. I made two maps so that we can transitionate between them. So yeah, I'll see you in the editor then. Alright, so here we are, and what I thought we could do in this level is that we make a level door right here that is locked, and that will give you a message if you interact with it. And once you get the key, use it how long it takes me to do this. I expect it to be a little long then. Yeah, so let's just start off and see if we can do things effectively this time. Alright, first thing, entity door, we want a level door, so you just scroll down to level underscore and you find whatever door you want. Let's see, let's just choose this hub door. And they are only one-sided, so we should rotate them correctly. Let's place it there. Okay. It's actually outside my light area, so it looks a little weird. Let's increase that. And right, so once you place down the door, it might not fit the door exactly, so if you want to be picky about it, you could move it up like that. A lot of people might not notice, though. I'm not sure why they are not fitting exactly. Anyway, you don't actually you do need to give it a name if you want to use a key on it. So like, of course you can use this name as it is, but if you want to make it a simpler name, so I'm just going to call it door, just like last time. I'm just going to call it door to make it simpler and easier to remember for scripting later on. Then we're going to go on the entity tab right here, and there are a lot of options for the level door. The first of all, we want to put locked on, and this will lock the door so we can't go through it, and we'll need a key to unlock it, so we're going to work with that a little later once we get to scripting. And then you want to click on the map file browser right here, and you just want to open up the find the map file that you want to open, that you want this door to lead to. So I'm just going to load this 4_2 that I made, which yeah, so once you go through this door, it's going to spawn you there, but you can't really go through until it's unlocked. Under the locked, there is another browser for the sound it makes. So if you interact with it now, it's going to play a sound. The door you want to play, the sound you want to play is usually the same one for any door. Just go to sounds, door, and door level locked, or door level, which one do we choose? Actually, there are a lot of ones to choose from, but I think wood. Door level wood locked, that one should fit for this one. Alright, so you have loaded the sound file for it, and yeah, And these two things, I'm going to work with them a little later, but they are the message that pops up if you interact with it as the door is locked. Now, start position, this we're also going to work with a little later once we get over to the other level. This is the position that you're going to spawn in once you go through, and this is what is displayed once you look at the door. So, and these are just general for entities of this kind, but yeah, these are pretty much from here and downwards are exclusive to level doors. But anyway, these things are more for the text later on, so we're gonna add those details a little later. But now, right now, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I have a habit of saving the map whenever I do something. It's useful to get to do that because this editor might happen to find out that it wants to die and yeah, crash, you know. Okay, so we have the door right there. We're going to unlock it using a key. So I'm just going to take it, go back to entity and scroll down to item, and let's just find a random key, tomb key. Okay, and of course you can place this key wherever you want it. I'm just going to make a huge key, and yeah, just so it's easy to see. It doesn't really matter. You probably know already how to make a key unlock a door, so I'm just going to go quicker through that. If you want a more detailed description on how to make the key unlock that door, then I have another video on that. We want to give this key a name, so I'm just going to call it key, and now we have the key there, and it's going to fall down unless you make it static, which I am going to do. So I'm just going to make it static, and that will make it float in the air, not being able to be pushed and whatnot. So, okay, I feel like I'm going through a lot really quickly. Hopefully you can understand these things. But yeah, there we have most of what is necessary in this level. Actually, go on the area and drop down to the bottom, player start. We're gonna need this in every level anyways. Actually, we're gonna put 2. I'm gonna click once to spawn here. This is gonna be the main spawn point of this level. I'm just gonna rotate it so that the blue arrow is facing inwards, because you'll be spawning looking in the direction of the blue arrow. And there we have, this is the spawn point that you're going to spawn when you initially load this map. So I'm just going to keep the name as it is. But then we're also going to have another area right in front of this door. Actually, when I think about it, I'm not going to actually need that, since you're not going to be able to go through the door again. But if you want to go back and forth through a door, you want to have an area like this that you can spawn right next in front of the door. But what I am going to do is that I'm going to have another area that just spawns you somewhere in this map. Let's spawn you in this corner, and looking inwards again, let's just spawn you there. This is for later, way later, so actually I'm just gonna forget about that and leave it there for now. And yeah, that is it in this map for now. I think we're definitely gonna drop back in here, but actually I'm gonna jump into scripting and script a little in this map, and then I'm gonna go to the other map, script there, and then I'm gonna go back and finish up the smaller details. Alright, okay, so what I'm gonna start off with doing, since my scripting file is currently all empty, this is the one for level 401, yeah, so I'm just gonna put the script file on the side here, but since it is empty and I wanted to unlock the door, I'm just gonna go and fetch the code that I used in the other video where I explain how to unlock the door, and I'll also have this code all linked in the description if you want to copy it, but since I already explained it in that video, I don't want to spend 20 minutes on that, so I'm just gonna paste it right in here so I have something to go start with. And pretty much what it is, add use item callback for the key on the door, which will call this event use key on door. And this door, I'm just gonna of course change a little to it because it's not the same for level doors and swing doors, but there's only a very small difference. You just go to set swing door locked and replace it with set level door locked. If you want to make sure that you got it right, you can also go to the engine scripts that I also have linked in the description, and you can just search up level door, or let's see, set level door locked, and here it is. So also according to this, it only takes 2 booleans, so I'm gonna have to remove this last one, and there we go. So set level door locked as entity, which is the door, false, so it's no longer locked. And place the sound effect right here, removes the key from your inventory, and I'm gonna add a small, let's see, sanity boost. I don't think that would help since you spawn with full sanity. Let's see, sanity, insanity, no, set player sanity. Actually, I might as well just do that. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna add a small little thing just to make it noticeable, something that I'm gonna add. So I'm gonna set it to 50. Set player sanity. So when you spawn, you'll be spawning with half sanity, and then I'm going to give them a small sanity boost once they unlock the door with the key. Alright, so now we have actually, you spawn in the map, you can walk around, you can pick up the key, you can use it on the door is unlocked. Okay, so that is it for key unlocking, and I think it's time to drop into the second level and finish up the things there, because since these two levels are dependent of each other and you're going to do things in both of them, kind of need to work with both of them at the same time. So, well, anyways, yeah. Okay, so now we are back here in the editor, and I'm going to load the other map that we're gonna be transferred to. So I'm gonna open 4_2, which looks just like this. It's pretty much the same thing. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add back the same door that I used last time, which was level_hub. And I'm gonna place it right there, and once again it's outside my light area, and let's see, we're gonna, just because I'm picky, I want to put it up, but I think I need to put it back a little. Anyway, let's just keep it like that. It's good enough. And yeah, so here we have this level door again, and so let's say we have the other room here. This is the room we just worked with, and we're going through this door, and you'll be spawning in here, but you will not be able to go back through the door, so we're gonna say it's jammed or something. This door, I don't think we need to give any name, but you want to go in entity, and you want to check off locked again, because you're not going to be able to go back, and since you're never going to be able to go back, you don't need to load a map file, and you don't need to load a start position either, but you want to put a locked sound on it, and I'm just going to put the same locked sound that I used last time. Sounds door level wood locked load, and once again I'm going to put these things on later. But yeah, so that's it for the door itself, except for these things that I'm gonna come back to, but for now, and that will make so that you're not able to go back through the door. And now I'm gonna add the first thing that we want is the spawn point. Once you go through the door, you'll be spawning like this. Make sure the blue arrow is pointing away from the door, and you'll be spawning there. And that's what happens when you go through this door. You'll be spawning in this position, so it doesn't automatically spawn in front of the door, because that would be kind of unreliable. So you define where you want to spawn using this, and this I'm gonna name from one. So usually this is just the system I use. I usually name the spawn points from where they are from. so it could be a little easier to remember. That's just me though. Just make sure that you remember what you name this area, because we're gonna put it in the door on the other side, in the other level. Anyways, what I am going to do here is a little more advanced, so I think I am going to finish off the first part before going there. So I'm going to save this map, and I'm going to open up the previous map again, and I'm going to click on the door. I'm going to go on Entity and Start Position. This is the position that you are going to spawn when you go to the other level. If there is only one position, one spawn point in that level, you don't need to put anything here because it will take you there automatically. But if you want to make sure that you're spawning in the right one, if you have several ones, you want to write the name of the area that you placed in the other level in front of the door. So from 1 is what I put, so I'm going to put from 1 in that position, or in that text box. And that should make it possible to unlock the door and go through and spawn in the other level. And I'm gonna save it again. And what's next up? I don't know. I guess the other. I think I'm gonna do all the strings in the end, because we're gonna use the extra English.lang to make all the text appear everywhere. But I'm going to do that in the end. I'm going to do the transitioning back to this room next. So yeah. Alright, so what I decided to do here is that you go through the door, you spawn here, and you just interact with something, and that will make you just fade out back to the other room. And I just placed this orb here, and some entities, if you go on the entity tab on them, some of them have the player interact callback. Excuse the noise. Some of them have the player interact callback, which will be useful to use, but if they do not have this, then you can use an area instead. So I'm just gonna use an area anyways. Actually, that's a player start area. We want to have a script area, and I'm just gonna click here. Hopefully you can see this. It's kind of unclear actually. If I turn off these, maybe it's a little, yeah, that should be better. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to put an area over this thing, this whole thing, make it a little smaller, and I should just use that thing. Alright, so let's say that you interact with this area. Pretty much just walk up to this area right here and you click on it, and that will make so that the screen fades to black and you are loading the previous map. So first of all, I don't think this needs a name. No, we just need to go on the area tab and player interact callback. This is the same as what is on this entity that I just showed, but not all entities have that. So I'm just going to use this area, if I can click it there, this area instead, because it can be used anywhere, no matter what. And inside here I'm going to write interact area. Press enter, and now pretty much when you click on this area, it's going to launch the event interact area, which needs to be in the file that is associated with this map. So I'm going to save the map now, and I'm going to drop into the scripting of the second map. Alright, so I have the scripting file for this map on the side here, and first of all I'm going to go to the engine script once again and find the interact syntax. So I go on the function that is the same as what I used in the level editor. In this case, set entity player interact callback, pretty much just a check whenever you click on something, and this is the syntax in bold. So I'm going to copy that syntax and paste it into my code up here, and I'm going to replace my func with interact area, which is what I put in the editor. Just make sure that those matches, and that make sure that this is as it should be, string as an entity, and in essence, okay, I just said a lot of bullshit right there. And then you do open and closing squiggly brackets to open the block, and inside this area is I'm gonna write it like this. First thing, fade out, and then the parameters is only a number of how fast it's going to fade out. So I'm going to put 2 and it'll fade to black within 2 seconds. And this is just an effect to the screen. And below that I'm going to add a timer, which does not need a name, because the only reason you want to give them names are if you're going to remove them or do anything fancy with them. But this is going to be the same amount as the fading, so that once it is fully black, it's going to launch the next event, which is change, well, what are we going to call it? I'm just going to call it load map. So after 2 seconds of touching the thing, it's going to launch another function that we're going to write below here, and that is going to transport you back to the other level. And okay, so actually, if you're not too good at this scripting things, you probably want to look up the syntax and everything for all these functions. But once you get to use them a lot, you pretty much know a lot of them just by heart and whatnot. So I remember them. But it gets a little hard to explain sometimes. But if you want to, you can just look it up here. Just search add timer, and it will say void my function and the parameters that you need. So I guess in this case I'll just copy it, but normally I would just write it down because I remember it. And this is load map, which needs to match what we put just up here. And string and in as timer, that is those are the parameters for this function. And then you open and close the block again, and inside here you want the function called change map. Okay, so you search that up on this page, and you just copy all the parameters and everything, and you place that in here. And here are the things that we need to define. First of all, it's the map name. This is a string, double quotes. Inside those quotes you write the name of the map that you want to load. In my case, level 4_1 dot map. I'm not sure if you need the dot map part actually, but I'm gonna put it anyways. And the start position, so these are like, if you remember, if you look at the door, these are pretty much the same parameters that you define in these text boxes at the bottom, except they're done in script. So it's not that hard to understand once you get to know it and everything. It might be look like gibberish to begin with, but it does make sense after a while, I hope. The start position is going to be actually I'm going to load the map right here, the previous one again, and if you remember I placed this one in the corner here. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it spawn, enter, and that is the same name that you need to put in here, so spawn, and that will reference the name of the spawn point that you put in the level editor right here. So once you touch the orb, you'll be transported to this area looking in that direction, like that, if you best understand that. And string start sound and string end sound, these are like, if you look at a door, you know, when you walk through a level door, it makes like a heavy door opening and closing sound effect. So these are like, if you want to use those, you can use them in the script right here. If you don't want to use them, which I'm not going to use, just put double quotes on this one and double quotes on the next one, and the function will still work the same, except it does not play a sound effect if you don't want it to. And that is all you need for changing the map, which isn't that advanced actually, but if you're very new to this, it could look very hard. Well, it could be kind of hard to understand if you have not done any scripting at all. So if you haven't done any scripting at all, I recommend watching some other tutorials, maybe getting just using the scripting makes you learn a lot. So just use it a lot and you'll become more familiar with it. That's my advice of the day. So anyway, now we have put in a lot of things, and I'm going to do a test run of this and show you how it is so far, and then I'm going to add up the last finishing details to make it better. So here we are in the level, and as you can see it's quite gray, and as you can see in my inventory my sanity is not at max. It's not crystal clear like it would be normally because I set it to be 50, but that's just to show that once I pick up this key and use it on the door, it's going to give me a sanity boost, but it only gives you sanity boost if your sanity is not full. So that's why I did it. Anyway, I'm going to pick up the key. It says picked up, and that's because I have not given the key a name tag yet. So I'm going to do that later along with the other texts. And yeah, but now, as you can see on the door, I'm going to add a text hovering below the door once you look at it. And I'm also going to do so when you click on it, it displays a text saying like it's locked. But if you click on it as it is now, it plays that sound effect that it's locked, so you know it's locked. And but you can still use this key on the door. See, and you got the sanity boost. Now my sanity is, well, it looks like it's the same, but you know. And if you click on the door after using the key, you're going through. And here we are in the second map, which looks similar, but it has different parts. And if you click on the door from here, same thing pretty much, but except the message that will appear when you click on it this time is going to be like I can't get it open, or it's jammed or blocked or something. So it's still locked in the same way, except it's gonna like story wise or whatever, in game wise, it's gonna be blocked, be locked. Anyways, as you can see here, yeah, there's an ARM entity on it. This only appears if you have an interact event happening with the area or orb or entity. So once I click on this, it fades to black and it's loading another map, and what? Here we are in the first map again, and this will be an infinite cycle going through the door again, touching the orb. And yeah, so that is how to transition between levels. But of course there are a few things, few text things. I think the text is the only thing remaining in this tutorial now, so I'm just gonna get right to that. Alright, so just to get rid of a few things here, I'm gonna close off the scripting file because we're done with that. I'm gonna close off the scripting file in the first one as well, because we are also done with that. And yeah, I might as well just close the whole program. And we don't need to do anything in here anymore. Just go back to your main folder with the extra english.lang, and this is where all the text is going to be stored. I'm going to minimize the engine scripts because we're not going to need those, I think, either. So alright, so just open your extra english.lang, and I'm going to place it on the side just like the scripting. This is a different file though, and I have organized it like this. So if you'd like, you can download my file, which looks similar to this. I just put up these things to make it organized because there's a lot of text gonna be in this file, so it might be it could be easy to lose control or lose yeah, to find out, oh, what am I even saying, but you know, it could be easy to drop out and not know what you're doing. So but I have organized it like this. So okay, so what it says, let's see, the first string that we want to add is on the door entity, the first door entity, which is text entry. And it says when you hover over the text shown when the door is in focus, category is always levels. So what they mean by that is that you need to go, if you've looked at this file before, there's always a opening, like there's a diamond block and it says category name equals journal, for example. The journal is for notes, diaries, and mementos. And then there is a category for inventory, which are for items, signs. Well, I think some of these are just customized, but some of them needs to be certain things. And in this case, it needs to be levels. Category is always levels. So you gotta go to where category name equals levels, and this is where you put the entry for the door. If you don't have a category name levels, you gotta make it. And yeah, so what you put inside here, I already have just a simple, like this is just an example I have, but if you want to make your own, usually if you have an example, you can just copy it and paste it below and edit it. That's what I usually do. But if you don't have one to start with, I guess I could just write it down. So you do opening and closing diamond brackets. Inside you write entry space name with capitals to begin with, equals quote quote. Inside the quote you write the name of this piece of text. So the same thing you write inside here. So I'm going to call it door1. Press enter, and door1, this will refer to the entry called door1. So I'm going to call this one door1. And that one is now connected to this one. So this is sort of like an alias, I suppose, for another text. So instead of writing the long text in here that you wanted on the door, because I don't think that would work as well. Like if it was possible, it is not possible, but if it was possible, it probably wouldn't be possible, because technically you don't want to use special character in code or whatever, but in strings you may be able to, and that's why this file is here. So after that, at the outside of that diamond block, you write another diamond block which has /entry, which closes the block, and between those two diamond blocks you can write whatever you want, and this is the text that is going to appear in the game. So you can write in here, I'm going to write orb room. I'm just going to write orb room there, and that will appear on the screen when you look at this door, because I put the same variable or name alias in this text entry. So hopefully you understand that. Door1 orb room. Okay, and that is the first thing. Now there are these things at the bottom: locked text category and locked text entry. So this category you can actually define yourself. So it's similar to this one, except this category is always levels. In this one you can make your own category. So it's pretty much like category name equals whatever you want to have inside here. But for this one it needs to be levels. And what category am I going to use? I guess I could use sign, or you could make whatever, but let's see. I'm going to make a category name for sign. I already have that though, but like then you write inside here sign, or you write whatever category you want, and inside the below one you want to write the entry. So I'm gonna write door1 here as well, door1, and this is the same as previous, except this is just the example I took. And inside between these brackets I'm gonna write what do we write here? It's locked. And as long as this door1 is written in here as well, door1, enter, then it will reference to the door1 entry in the sign category, which is the door1 entry in the sign category. Okay. Am I explaining this too in detail, or is it necessary? I don't know. Is it just confusing maybe? Anyway, hopefully you understand that. I feel like I'm I don't know. Okay, so we have that. So pretty much if you hover over it, it also gives you a little hint of what it thinks is. So this is category of the message shown if locked and interacted with. So if this door is still locked, which it is to begin with, and you click on it, it will display this message for a few seconds. It's locked. And that is the door. Oh yeah, so that is the door right there. Done. Now the key. The key does not have a name tag, so to give the key a name, you go on the entity part of it all the way to the bottom, custom sub item type name, if you want to give it a custom name, that is. And in this case I want to do that real quick. I already did this in my use key on door tutorial, so I'm gonna go a little quicker, but I already kind of explained it's the same thing pretty much. So I already have entry for them. You need an entry name, item name underscore, and item desk underscore, and this will be the variable or the alias for the piece of text that is shown on the key. So I'm going to do key desk enter, and that is the same that I wrote right here, and that will show these pieces of texts, and that is the key done, and that is also this whole level completed. And I'm going to save that map, and I'm going to open level 402 underscore 2. Why did I say O? And we're going to click on the door again, and we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing here. Text entry, I'm going to write door 2 in there, and then I'm going to go back to where I wrote door 1 in the levels category, and I'm going to copy that whole line and paste it below and edit it to door 2 instead of door 1, and I'm going to edit the text to be I don't know, spawn room, let's call it that. Not very creative, but okay. So, and that is done with that, and then we go to these things. I'm going to do the same category as before, sign, and I'm going to do the entry being door 2 again. So we go back to signs here in this file, copy the entry, paste it below, edit it to sign door 2, and edit the text to be instead of it's locked, it's blocked, like that. Not sure why I'm capitalizing it, but okay, I just like doing that. And it's blocked, so you can only go one way through this door. And that is everything. I don't think there is anything more to do. So if I forgot something, I'll come back to it, but save all the files. Oh, I need to save this, not open. Okay, save all the files, save the extraenglish.lang, and I'm gonna run the game and see if it looks okay. Okay, so now you have loaded the map again, and we go over to the door. It says orb room when you look at it. Click, it's locked. Yeah, it's locked, it's locked, it's locked. Pick up the key, picked up a key. It's for unlocking a door. You see all the name tags work fine. If they do not show up whatsoever, you might have an error in your extraenglish.lang file. So be sure to look over it and make sure all the blocks are closed and everything. Now we're going through here, and we are here again, and we can look at this again. Spawn room, it's blocked. Can't get back through there. We can still click on this one, and it shall take us back to the other map. And I think that was everything. Yeah, I think that was everything that we needed to do. And thank you for watching the video. And if I explained it not good, I hope you understand. If you liked it and it helped you, I really appreciate if you like the video. It motivates me to make more of these tutorials. So yeah, with that, I will see you later. Goodbye.